All right, boys, welcome back to another YouTube video. In today's video, nice, straightforward one for you is my top 10 tips to getting as ripped as possible. This is a question I get asked all the time. I'm somebody that lives my life pretty lean, dare I say ripped, and I think I've got some nice little pointers for you. And tip number one, okay, is you want to have your calories as high as possible, especially at the starting point of a fat loss phase. You've heard me rave about this a million times, but you really will struggle to stay ripped if you're eating 1600 calories and you're starving all the time and you're doing loads of cardio. It just doesn't work, okay? So tip number one, start your calories as high as possible, as high as you can, and still either maintain your body weight or lose fat just a little bit, and then drive the output via cardio and steps, okay? So if my maintenance calories are 3,000, okay? At the start of my fat loss phase, if my goal is to be ripped long-term 24/7, my starting calories are gonna be 3,000. And I'm gonna take cardio and steps up, and I'm gonna create that deficit via output, training, cardio steps and training, whilst keeping my calories as high as possible, knowing I can lose body fat at the highest amount of food possible. If I take my calories down to 2,000 in week one, I'm going to crash and burn very, very quickly, okay? Tip number one, calories as high as possible. Tip number two, one of the most important ones there is train for strength, and 80% of your lifts need to be compound lifts, okay? What do I mean by train for strength? You want to get as strong as possible across the biggest compound lifts in the gym, because they recruit the most amount of muscle fibers, do the most amount of damage, and are going to build the most amount of muscle. What do you think is better for your body? Heavy chin-ups for sets of 6 to 10, sit in that 6 to 15 rep range, heavy chin-ups, or bicep curls to failure? What do you think is better for your overall physique, yeah? Heavy dips to failure, or tricep rope pushdowns? Obviously, we want to bias the heavy compound lifts and get stronger over time. So 80% of your training should come from these lifts if you're going to build a complete physique, which is what I always talk about. And of course, 20%, you've got lateral raises, you've got curls, you've got hammer curls, tricep pushdowns, leg extensions, hamstring curls, face pulls, these sort of things, yeah? But the majority of your lifts need to be compound lifts, and your entire training philosophy should be to get stronger around these lifts, because that is going to build the most amount of muscle, which is going to allow you to lose the most amount of fat on the highest amount of food possible. And maintaining good condition always comes down to having a little bit more calories. It's very hard to maintain being ripped and 10% body fat when you have to eat 1600 calories, do 15,000 steps a day, and do 30 minutes of cardio every morning. Or you get to my position after obviously years and years of trial and error and building my physique, where I can eat 3,000 calories, maintain 12% body fat, and I just do, I do 30 minutes of cardio each day that I enjoy, steady state, and I train about 4 times a week on my steps, wherever they are. This is a lot easier for me, okay, because I have spent time building muscle, building strength, building calories up, okay? Tip three, gonna ruffle some feathers, is I would fast where you find best in your routine, okay? It doesn't have to be a wake up in the morning, have a black coffee and sparkling water and don't eat until 2 o'clock. You might be someone that has your last meal at 5 o'clock and you start a modified fast from 5 until 8 in the morning. By finding a certain part of the day that you find easiest to not have food, you limit your feeding window, which means you get to eat more food in a shorter amount of time, meaning you feel more satiated and you feel happier, okay? For me, I'll wake up at about 5:45 in the morning. I'll have a couple of coffees. I'll drink some electrolytes with my water. I'll go and do some cardio or train, get some work done. And if I can push my first meal back to like 11 o'clock, those first 5 hours, I've smashed it. And it wasn't that hard because I had my coffee and I was kind of busy doing stuff, okay? And then I've got 11 till, 9, where I can eat quite a lot of food in a short amount of time. And I actually feel pretty satiated and full, even though my calories are lower than, a maintenance calories for me or a slight deficit, okay? I'm not saying I'm not doing this big fasting thing, like you've got to fast. Just find a time in the day where you can limit food so that later on in the day when you start to get hungry, you've got calories to play with, because it all comes down to calorie control. You can be the healthiest, vegan, fasting, semen retention fucking loser of all time, but if you eat 3,000 calories a day and your maintenance is 2,500, you're going to get really fat over time. I don't care how long you don't wank for and eat loads of vegetables. If you're eating too many calories, you're going to get fat, whether you're healthy or not. Tip number 4 would be try and evenly split your protein throughout the day. Oh, Max, you just said you should fast. I know, but when you are eating, you want to try and split protein up evenly throughout the day. In my opinion, the main reason for this is appetite control. It's filling. If you have 40, 50 grams of protein 3 to 4 times a day, you're going to feel pretty full during those meals, meaning it's probably going to hold you to your next meal. Don't fast all day long and do 150 grams of protein in one meal because you're a 1 meal a day guy. Your stomach will be wrecked. How are you going to do that? Put 2,500 calories away in one meal. How is that the good thing to do? You're going to be very full, very bloated, super sluggish afterwards. Evenly split your food throughout the day in your feeding window. And that means splitting protein up. Plus, there's obviously studies on like muscle protein synthesis, all this drip feeding protein. I don't really buy into it. As long as you get a good, decent amount of protein throughout the day, by the time you go to bed, you're probably fine. Okay, guys, tip number 5 is I would always choose low intensity cardio over HIIT cardio. So low intensity, steady state cardio lists over high intensity interval training when the goal is to remain lean all the time. Okay, we were told back in the day, HIIT training spikes your metabolism, you create the afterburn effect, and you just burn calories all day long. Not really. It doesn't work like that. It's not like I do 20-second bike sprints on a sprint bike, I get off and I'm just getting shredded all day long, sat at home. Oftentimes, what we see is that really intensive, high-intensity interval training cardio, like a brutal CrossFit session, a brutal high rock session, or true HIIT, which is like 85 to 95% of your heart rate. You can't, like true HIIT cannot be done. The amount of true HIIT can't be done for very long. The amount of people that say, oh, I did a 1 hour HIIT workout. Okay, you sat with your heart rate at 90% for 1 hour. No, you didn't. Let me put you on a rowing machine, make you pull as hard as you possibly can for 30 seconds, and then give me an hour. It doesn't work. You do short sprints, 30 seconds on, 90 seconds off, 30 seconds on, 90 seconds off. Most people on an assault bike or a rower are gone after 3 or 4 rounds. But let's say you are fit and you're able to do 10 rounds, 30 seconds on, 90 seconds off, true HIIT, like sprinting up a hill, 90% of your heart rate. What happens is the body will sense this. First of all, massive amount of fatigue in the legs. Second of all, massive increase in hunger, meaning the deficit, which is number 1, becomes harder to adhere to. It massively impacts training performance. Try do a brutal high rock session on a Monday and go and train upper body on a Tuesday. Even though you've nuked your legs on a Monday, your upper body session will suffer on a Tuesday because you don't recover in time. If you're not recovering, you end up lifting more load over time. You will have a decrease in muscle. As calories come down and lifts come down, muscle will come down. The goal is to maintain strength. Yeah, 80% of our lifts is building strength. That's the whole point in a fat loss phase. So steady state cardio won't affect training performance. True HIIT, what you'll find is after you do a 10-minute session, you end up walking less throughout the day. You move less throughout the day. Your body will overcompensate by dropping NEAT down, which is non-exercise activity thermogenesis, basically like what I'm doing right now. I am burning calories through NEAT, yeah? It's not cardio, I'm just moving my arms talking to you. That slows down. You literally feel the body slow down. You start to talk like this, you sit down more, you're more tired. So you end up burning less calories throughout the day to compensate for the massive amount of fatigue. You're better off just doing steps and regular cardio and keeping your calories consistent. Steady state cardio over HIIT. Guys, I take a deep dive into all of these topics in my course, Building Muscle, Building the Complete Physique in Half the Time. The link is below, had to plug it. Sorry. Tip number 6 to staying as lean as possible and getting as ripped as possible is stimulants work. Caffeine works. I would use it to your advantage. If you feel very, very tired and you have a midday slump at 12 o'clock and you have a huge black coffee with 2 sweeteners in it because it tastes sweet and actually tastes good, you're probably going to have an increase in energy. You're going to satisfy a craving because the coffee is sweet. I'm not saying go and have 450 calorie cappuccinos from Starbucks, but if you have a big long black Americano with a sweetener in it, or like a sugar-free syrup, you're going to have some people that say, well, it wrecks your digestive and your gut. Yeah, you might feel a little bit bloated and you might have some gut distress if you're slamming sweeteners every 5 minutes. But a couple of sachets of stevia and a big coffee, it's going to give you an energy boost. It's going to give you a caffeine hit, which is going to increase NEAT and make you move more, which is going to allow you to burn more calories without eating more calories. Stimulants and caffeine, it really is a cheat code to fat loss success. Tip number 7, that's very dark. Tip number 7 is utilize 20% of your calories for food you enjoy. If you're having 3,000 calories a day, save 600 calories for the evening and eat 600 calories of what you enjoy at nighttime. Okay? Trust me, staying lean is about being on a sustainable, maintainable plan. We want muscle to do that. We want a moderate deficit to do that. We want moderate cardio to do that. If you're eating chicken, egg whites, steamed vegetables, a little bit of white fish, tuna, you're gonna hate your life. Every evening, smash up some chocolate oats, make some whey protein mug cakes, have a protein bar, have something that you enjoy in the evening where you can sit there at night time and think, oh, this is so nice, I've earned this, I feel great, going to bed happy, I've hit my calories, boom, we start the next day. I'd really recommend saving 20% of your calories for, I don't want to say quote unquote junk, the food you enjoy. Another tip I want to go over, guys, as well is you need to make sure you've got muscle. And I know I've kind of gone over this, but like really, in order to be ripped, like being beach lean and ripped, yeah, like this kind of physique, not super ripped, but this like lean physique, I hope the lighting works, is because I've done multiple bulks in the past, done multiple failed bulks, dirty bulks, cuts. I've kind of done it all and got to a point I'm happy with. Most people, they start the gym, a couple of years of training, and they just want to be ripped all the time, but they've never really spent time building muscle, increasing their metabolism, spending time in a surplus to then build up their lifts. They actually have tissue that when they diet down, they look good. So make sure, if your goal is to be ripped all the time, make sure that you've gone through a couple of decent, successful lean gaining phases and built your metabolism up over time. I've got loads of videos on building your metabolic rate so that you actually have muscle and look good. Can you imagine in my first year of training if I was just like, right, deficit, like I wouldn't have any muscle to begin with. I've done multiple bulks over the years. Every year I've built a bit more muscle and it's allowed me to get a little bit leaner until I'm kind of at this point now where I can kind of maintain that lean physique. But if you're sitting there and you're 61 kilos and you're really skinny and you have no muscle, you probably don't need to go into a dieting phase to get ripped. You need to go into a lean gaining phase. And I've got so many videos on this as well, but make sure you have muscle to begin with, okay? That brings me to tip number 9, which is a huge one, is have cheat meals, not cheat days. Cheat days do not exist. I had a client the other day that said to me, he's on 1,700 calories, he just can't lose fat. And I like thought, that's obviously not true. He's obviously lying to me, but let's dive into it. As we spoke, he was like, my coach gives me a refeed day on the weekend, it was like 5,000 calories. I was like, whoa, hold on a minute. Where'd you get your coach from? A refeed is not a fight. You have had a full-blown eating disorder binge and you've called it a refeed. What? How is 5,000 calories on a Saturday of pizza, beers and chips a refeed? It's a binge. It's a cheat day. They don't exist. You've blown your whole diet. We want to have cheat meals. If you're having 2,500 calories per day and on a Saturday, you want to have a cheat meal, you would fast in the morning. You'd have a 500 calorie lunch and then you'd have a 2,000 calorie dinner where you'd feast on all the food you enjoy. And when you go to bed, you're at 2,500 calories. You would fit your cheat meal into your calories. You do not just have a fuck it weekend and have 10,000 calories and have a cheat day because you've earned it. All you've done there is gain loads of body fat in a short amount of time, wrecked your digestion. Don't be an idiot. Cheat days don't exist. Hi, just leave it on the bike. That's my Gojek driver delivering my oats. Let's go, love Bali. New villa, by the way, hate it. So, yeah, cheat days don't exist. Cheat meals fit within your calories. Be smart, strategically place this food in. If I'm gonna have a cheat meal, I'm thinking, right, I'm training legs tomorrow. I'm gonna fast today in the morning. I'm gonna have a light lunch. I'm gonna put 2,000 calories of whatever I want in the evening. It's gonna feel great. I'm gonna go to bed 2,500 calories still. I'm gonna wake up, I'm gonna annihilate my legs, have the best training session all week. That's how you fit cheat meals in. And last but not least, guys, we have to think about creating a lifestyle. Don't create deadlines and holiday targets and stuff. If you want to be ripped all the time, which is what I rave about and teach in my course and teach in my coaching, we're creating a lifestyle, okay? We want to be able to have these cheat meals once or twice a week fit within our calories. We want to have 20% of overall calories every day to be something with something you enjoy. We want to enjoy our training. We want to get stronger. We want to increase our lifts. We want to enjoy this stuff. Don't just do like dedicated 8-week fat loss phases where you go all in and then you're sloppy for 6 months. If you've got to create a lifestyle, building a good physique takes time. It's a 24/7 thing, okay? You don't have to be all in all the time, but you want to be 70 to 80% in at all times, and you're going to have a great physique year round, okay? Don't diet hard and be militant for 8 weeks to then fall off track for 3 months. You will look like shit all the time. We want to be consistently training, which is why I rave about a 3 to 4 day plan. Consistently eating well 70 to 80% of the time, which is why I rave about sustainability across your meal plan. Doing cardio you enjoy. I box 3 times a week. I surf a few times a week. I play paddle a few times a week. I no longer sit on a Stairmaster fucking looking at the time and hating my life. Do the cardio you enjoy. Create a lifestyle that you enjoy with your training, and you'll have a great physique and you'll maintain it for a lifetime. And if you want me to help you, reach out to me. Thanks for watching this video. See you guys in the next one.